you hit that subscribe button, like the video, and leave me a comment down below. It can be about anything, I don't care. You can leave me some emojis, leave me maybe something else to talk about on my next video. Just leave me a comment down below. Today's video is going to be about a man by the name of Daniel Rowland, who was a serial killer in the early 90s. The movie Scream was actually inspired by him, which came out in 1996. He killed 5 college students in the early 90s. And as I always say, a disclaimer, this video is not meant to be just disrespectful to the victims and the victims' families. I am going to verbally explain exactly what he did to the victims. So if that's not what you like and if that's not what you're into, then don't watch this video. I always warn you all, I always do, because I know how sensitive these topics are. So I want to go ahead and put that out there. Sit back, relax, and enjoy some crime time. Daniel Harold Rowland was born on May 26, 1954 in Shreveport, Louisiana, to a 19-year-old mother, Claudia, and his dad, James, who was a police officer. He was the oldest of his younger brother, Kevin. When Daniel's mother and father would get into altercations, this would prompt them to verbally abuse him and his brother, Kevin, which turned into physical abuse as they got older. Daniel escaped the abuse by turning to art and music. He received a guitar one Christmas and explained that this was one of the most happiest memories as a teenager. At 15 years old, Daniel recalled the start of when he developed multiple personalities. These personalities were so bad, he attempted to take himself out a few times. As a teenager, Daniel was arrested numerous times for robberies in Georgia and got caught spying on women getting dressed. As a young adult, Daniel got a job as a waiter at a restaurant in Shreveport called Poncho's. Daniel got kicked out of the Air Force in 1972 for drug possession. He moved in with his grandfather and joined a church. He met and married a woman named O'Mather Hollico. They had a daughter together. O'Mather divorced Daniel due to his abusive behavior. After his divorce, Daniel sexually assaulted a woman who resembled his ex-wife and committed several robberies in Georgia, which eventually led to his incarceration in 1979. One evening in May of 1990, Daniel and his father James got into a heated fight, which led to Daniel almost killing his own father. Daniel pulled out a gun and shot his father in the stomach and head. His father lost an eye and an ear. In November of 1989, Daniel was fired from his job as a waiter at Poncho's restaurant. This prompted Daniel to break into the home of 24-year-old Julie Grissom. She was found with her legs spread on the bed and bite marks all over her body. On the late hours of August 24th, 1990, Daniel decided to break into the home of UF freshman 17-year-old Christina Powell and Sandra Larson. Christina was asleep downstairs on the couch. Daniel stood over her, watching her sleep. He chose to go upstairs where Sandra was sleeping. He taped her mouth shut to silence her screams, then stabbed her to death after sexually assaulting her. Daniel then made his way back downstairs and committed the same act on Christina, binding her hands behind her back. He cut her clothes off, sexually assaulted her face down. Afterwards, he stabbed her in the back 5 times. After the crimes were committed, he then took a shower before leaving. The next day, he broke into the home of 18-year-old college student Krista Hoyt, who attended Santa Fe Community College. He forced open a sliding glass door with a screwdriver and waited in the living room for her to return. At 11 a.m., Krista returned home. Daniel placed her in a chokehold, taped her mouth shut, and bound her wrists together. He cut her clothes off and sexually assaulted her face down. Then he proceeds to stab her in the back, rupturing her heart. He then decapitated her head, putting it on a shelf to face her body, which was left on the bed. At this point, the media got a hold of this story and warned other students that attended the change up their daily routine into sleeping groups together. The murder spree took place in the early fall semester, so many students withdrew from the school or transferred to other schools. 3 days passed and Daniel resurfaced on August 27th and broke into the home of two 23-year-old UF students, Manuel Taboada and Tracy Pauls. Daniel found Manuel asleep and killed him. Tracy heard the commotion and walked down the hallway to the bedroom, where she locked eye contact with Daniel. She tried to barricade herself in the bedroom, but Daniel broke through the door. He bound her wrists together, taped her mouth, cut off her clothing, then proceeded to do his ritual doings. Scream is about a man that stalks high school students in the middle-class suburbans, then proceeds to attack at the right moment. In March of 1994, an up-and-coming screenwriter by the name of Kevin Williamson became very intrigued after hearing the news of the murders that took place in Gainesville. He was very spooked out but inspired to write out the screenplay for the successful 1986 movie Scream. It was released on December 20th, 1996, with a budget of $50 million, and it grossed over $173 million. Police had a prime suspect that was one of the UF students who lived in the same complex as two of the victims. This guy was displaying erratic behavior. He was even arrested for physically assaulting his grandmother. It was apparent he was battling manic depression, and with no evidence to support him being a suspect, he was ruled out. The suspect that they were looking for, Daniel Rolling, was already in jail for an armed robbery he committed at a Winn-Dixie grocery store in Ocala, Florida. Early the next year, in 1981, Daniel was linked to the killings by two of the DNA evidence from the crime scenes. He was already facing life sentences for several previous armed robberies. He was charged with the murders of all 5 Gainesville students in June of 1992. Daniel started working with a journalist by the name of Sandra London, who eventually became his fiancée and helped him put together the making of a serial killer. Instead of confessing to his own crimes, he used another inmate, Bobby Lewis, to tell people what Daniel did. In February of 1994, the trial began and Daniel pleaded guilty. To determine his sentencing, jurors listened to a letter from Daniel's mother stating that he was abused by his father and he had an alternate personality named Gemini who influenced him into committing these crimes. 2 other psychiatrists testified that Daniel did have personality disorders, but they believed he understood exactly what he did. The jury found Daniel Rolling guilty of first-degree murder on all 5 counts in late March of 1994, and in April he was sentenced to death. October 25th, 2006, he died by lethal injection. In his final moments, he sung a religious hymn, "None Greater Than Thee, O Lord." His microphone was cut off in the middle of the hymn. Thank you all for watching this video. If you all enjoyed this type of content, hit that subscribe button, like the video, and comment down below. I do post videos every Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I hope you all stay safe and stay blessed. I'll catch you on my next video.